Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh and whatever special guest he has today. You can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good. And follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey everybody, welcome to the program. Oh, by the way, he's back. Our friend from the Korn Ferry Tour, rookie Caleb VanArragon, is back. The last time we talked to Caleb was months ago, just before he started his journey on the Korn Ferry Tour. And if you remember the story, he wasn't sure he was going to make it through Q School, got through Q School, and now here we are 22 events into the season, and he's in a good position to secure his Korn Ferry Tour status. PGA Tour, still a long shot, and but he has a couple things wrapped up. So he was a neophyte going in, but he's a seasoned veteran now. So we're going to catch up with him. He has some interesting life developments as well. And Caleb VanArragon is always a good talk here on Party Time, My Golf Story. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the program, would you please do so? That helps us with the bean counters. Very important with the algorithms on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all those different things. And it also helps our title sponsors. Speaking of those, big thanks to Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try a Party. Much better than a beer. It doesn't make you feel fat. You don't feel like you're swinging around it. A lot better than some of those drinks named after a time of day or a crustacean that crawls across the bottom of the ocean floor. If your golf dreams, if your living dreams revolve around living in a golf resort community like Lakewood National Golf Club, where this podcast originates from in the greater Sarasota area, nobody better than the golf real estate pros, Vince Vizzacaro, Gene Walsh, and Samantha Walsh to help you out. They're all based at Lakewood National Golf Club. Great time to buy. It is a buyer's market. So if you want to get a head start on retirement, no better time to do it right now. And if all that golf has got you worn out and you need a place to unwind, maybe get a massage, get a cold water plunge, get a hot tub, get some red light therapy in sauna or whatever you want. BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota is the place for you to go. All right. So that's it with the housekeeping. Caleb VanArragon, good to see you, my man. You looked like a fresh daisy a few months ago, and now you're a grizzled professional, touring professional and everything. How have you been, my man?
Oh, I've been good. It's good to be back here, though. I'm glad I still have status. I'm glad I'm still here. So yeah, it's good to be back.
Well, you spent so much time on the road, and you have a new living arrangement. Last time I talked to you, it was like the ultimate bachelor pad in Lakewood Ranch, and I kind of think some outdoor furniture was doubling as indoor furniture. Now you have new living arrangements. What's going on in life, brother?
Yes, absolutely. So last time you talked to me, I was living in Lakewood Ranch with a couple of other mini tour guys. That was just a thing for the winter. And I thought at that point, I didn't really have like a long-term plan, but I thought I would probably just end up moving back to Minnesota for the summer. But then my girlfriend graduated from college and got a job in Fort Myers, Florida. So I moved down here in June, I should say. And it's kind of tough because we've been in this apartment for like close to 3 months now, and I've spent a total of about 10 nights in here just because we've been on the road so much for the Korn Ferry Tour. But no, so last time when you talked to me, our apartment had no furniture. We were using me and the other mini tour guys were using like beach chairs as furniture. That was our couch was a beach chair. And now you can see behind me, that's not going to fly anymore. We've got an actual dresser and, an actual couch in the living room and everything. So
sounds like you're adulting. Okay. Yeah. That's why we need women in our lives. So we don't live like Neanderthals for life. I mean, would Abby have ever flown for there's no way she would have done it. So I'm to start living.
Yes. I had to start living like a civilized human.
Good for you. Did you see the dog crash our podcast there?
Yes, that was awesome. Was that?
Yeah. Well, we got a little weather going on. 2 dogs in my house. Well, we got a temporary dog that's Maggie, and she's afraid of the weather. And so she actually jumped up on the table and crashed the podcast. Now, if Josie, the German Shepherd, does it, it's all over, brother.
Yeah.
Do you like dogs, Caleb?
Love dogs. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So just a little cameo appearance by Maggie there. So tell me, before you started, it was like you were a neophyte. You're going out probably weren't exactly sure what you're doing, but you're a solid pro now. You're in pretty good position. You have some status wrapped up. You'd like better status. How do you feel about how the season's gone?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. I mean, if you could give me at the start of the year, if you could put me in the position where I'm at right now, I would absolutely take it in a heartbeat. Like you said, there's still work to be done. There's 4 playoff events. The first one is top 156 in the points list, and then they progressively cut down until the last one. The Tour Championship is only top 75, I believe. So I'm in the next 3 events, but I still have a little bit of work to do to get to that top 75 Tour Championship at French Lick. But no, I mean, I'm very, very happy with the way that things have gone so far. I mean, it started off, I had a really good first 2 tournaments in the Bahamas. I believe I made both cuts and had a top 20, which was, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game out here. Like if you make a cut and then finish, 60th or something, that only gets you 3 or 4 points. So, but in comparison, if you have a top 20, that gets you at least 40. And then if you win, you get 500. So the name of the game out here is really just, it's not make every cut. It's more maximize the cuts that you do make. And I'm very lucky that the times I've made the cut, I've generally been able to play pretty well and get a decent number of points out of that. I've had 2 top 10s that were 80 and 90 points apiece, and then 2 other top 20s that were each 40 points apiece. And outside of that, I mean, I think I've gotten 30 combined points from the rest of my events. So it's all about maximizing those opportunities that you have when you're close to the lead, when you're playing late on the weekend. I mean, that's the name of the game out here. And I don't think I really realized that at the start, but I'm glad that it's worked out well for me. You
do now. You got to get it when the getting's good. It kind of sounds like blackjack. It's not that you got to be playing steady the whole way. It's just when you got good cards, you got to double down and you got to maximize it, as you said at the time. Well, let's talk about 2 tournaments that went in your favor. Veritex, 9th place finish, 25 under par. You shot a 62 in that round.
Yeah,
what was working?
So that tournament was kind of insane. So so first of all, coming into that, I'd missed 5 out of my last 6 cuts, and I was on the bubble of even getting into the tournament in the first place. I think I was probably at the start of the week, the 5th guy in. So it was, I'd had a rough stretch in South America, and then came back to the US, and the 2 tournaments, including the one in Lakewood National, I missed the cut. But then, so I was coming into the Dallas tournament with pretty low confidence, honestly. But the Thursday got rained out, so I had to go play 36 holes on Friday, and the course was very scoreable. They were playing the ball up, and the course in general is fairly wide off the tee, and then the greens are kind of like bowls. The course becomes very challenging if you've got wind, but the 3 tournaments the 3 days of that week, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there was no wind and we were playing the ball up. So basically every hole, like I said, the fairways are pretty wide. So you're basically hitting a driver into the fairway most of the time, and then a wedge into a bowl off of a tee, because you can fluff your lie, to soft greens with no wind. So it was a scorer's paradise. The cut line was 9 under par, I believe, which was a Korn Ferry Tour record. And I started off with a birdie, 2 birdies in a row, actually. And, just kind of kept the momentum rolling. I mean, I went into the day knowing that I was going to need a good, to shoot something really low. But thankfully, because it was 36 holes, I didn't have to worry about losing the momentum that I had. I was able to really keep it going well throughout the day. So I played well, got into the second to last group on Sunday or on Saturday. And then actually played in the final group on Sunday with Johnny Kiefer, who ended up winning the tournament. I played with him a couple of times. Actually, we'll talk about this in a second, but the other top 10 I had in Chicago, I also played with him in the final round, and he also won the tournament there. So his 2 Korn Ferry wins have both been playing with me, which is kind of funny.
Oh,
but,
well, maybe some of that's going to rub off on you.
Yeah,
and maybe you'll get the win, and he'll be in the final group. I know something special happened in Chicago on the final hole. We'll get to that in a moment. But if you don't mind, the bad stretch where you missed 5 cuts in a row or 5 out of 6, whatever it was, what's going through your mind as that's unfolding and you're losing ground?
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal. I mean, you question everything that you think you knew, like about golf. Like, I mean, you lose confidence in a lot of things that you thought were previously unshakable. Like, you think that it's hard to describe, but you just wonder, like, are all these guys like really that much better than me? Like, do I actually have like any business being out here? And especially I'm sure it's easier if you've been a tour pro for 20 years or so and you've got that experience to draw back on. But for me, like, in college, I played for a mid-major college, and I had some success there, but never on a national stage. And same with junior golf. I'd never, again, had any success on a national stage there. And now I'm playing on the Korn Ferry Tour, and I got off to a hot start. And then when you're playing, it's so weird how in golf, when you're playing good, you feel like it can never end, and when you're playing bad, you feel like you'll never play good again. But yeah. It's no, it was brutal, but it was good because I changed some things during that stretch, like especially with short game technique, because I'd always had a good short game, but then got into a rough patch in the South America swing, and fortunately made there were technical issues there. I'd always chipped holding the club at the very bottom of the grip, and basically making a putting stroke as my chipping motion, which works great on the courses that I'd grown up on in Minnesota, which are public courses, bent grass, very long fairway. I mean, it works.
Yeah. And the club glides through the grass and everything.
It's
when the grass changes, you got to change with the grass.
It's technically the most, like, not challenging at all to hit chips off of that stuff. But then I play tournaments in, like Lakewood National, for instance, and all of a sudden I've got to be clipping chips off of really tight Bermuda. And
oh yes,
that technique doesn't hold up anymore. So
it doesn't. And that's why for average golfers, and that's most of our viewers and listeners, Caleb, it's a different style of golf. It looks like golf. You see green grass and everything, but you cannot chip the same way you do up north. You have to reinvent yourself, or you're going to chunk them, or you're going to blade them.
Continue, absolutely. And my issue too was when you choke down all the way and don't have any wrist action, it's really easy with the pattern that most yippy chippers I've noticed is they tend to take the club back very short and have to accelerate into the ball. So I developed, I wouldn't say that chip yips, but it was very poor chipping because I had gotten a little bit too short and was trying to and accelerating through. So the change that I made, and it was really beneficial for addressing like contact off of Bermuda, but also just generally chipping the ball well. So gripping it all the way at the end of the handle and feeling like my chipping was more body dominated and having soft wrists, allowing the wrist to break a little bit. But it used to be just an armsy, like putting stroke type motion. Yeah. And that's a killer for chipping under pressure. And when you feel like you have to accelerate with your arms through it, it just doesn't hold up. So
it's so interesting to hear you explain it because you're a solid pro, but you almost sound like you're an amateur in describing how it felt and what you were going through, but you got to fix. All right. That's the good part. Then you had another real good fit. Well, Chicago, the N5 Invitational, 21 under par. I mean, that wins on most PGA Tour events, not necessarily on the Korn Ferry Tour. Yeah. What happened on the 18th hole?
So it was a good, really fun week for me because I went to college at Valparaiso University, which is like an hour outside Chicago, and that tournament's in Chicago. So I had bunch of people from college show up, a bunch of college teammates. Abby actually flew up. Her family was there. My family was there because it's the most central location for, Minnesota, Michigan, Indiana, all that area. So I had probably like 20, 30 like people just coming out to watch me, which I've never had that many before. And
oh, that's cool.
So that was really fun. And then on top of that, I was playing in the final group again with Johnny Kiefer, naturally. And so we had a bunch of people following us. So it was pretty nervy. I would say I was probably a little less nervy than Dallas because I'd done it before. But there was still the added pressure. Like, I don't want to say pressure, but I really wanted to play well because I had so many people out there to watch. And the first 17 holes were just a nightmare. I only made one birdie and 2 bogeys on a golf course where the scoring average every round was like 3 or 4 under par. It was a little bit like Dallas, except with fairly wide fairways, soft greens. It was a perfectly conditioned course. Like the fairways were nice and running, and the greens were nice and soft, so you could stop wedges. So it was a scorer's paradise again, and I just could not get anything going. Like all my wedges would end up like 15 feet away, and then I'd burn the edge on the putt, it felt like. And then I actually dropped out of I think I was in 15th place coming up 18 and hit a good drive. It went in the rough by like a foot. I was like, come on, lay up. It's a par 5. And I had a 112-yard wedge shot in. And I literally told my caddy, I swear I said this. He was like, yeah, if we make a birdie, we're in the top 10. I swear I said, if I hole out, we're pretty much set for the year. And then I hold the wedge shot from 112 yards. It skidded and went in. And I threw my club. It was like the coolest moment of my life.
That is so cool. And so what that meant, it meant a lot of money. The difference between where, making eagle and birdie was worth how much?
Between making eagle and birdie, I'm not sure. But if I had parred that hole, I would have been in T15 or something like that.
But it was like 18 grand in the end. It was an $18,000 shot.
An $18,000 hole out. Yep. And about 50 points.
Oh, and then the points.
That's the big deal there.
What was the reaction of your gallery?
They went kind of crazy. It was so cool. And it's the 18th hole, so there's a big grandstand, and it was the last group, so it was pretty much full. And it's a really, really good finishing hole. It's a little bit like a smaller version of 18 at TPC Twin Cities. That's like 10 minutes from my house in Minnesota. So it's a par 5 with a pond all the way like short right, and then you got to lay up off to the left, and they've got like hospitality stuff down the left. So a lot of people watching there, and then everyone crowding around the green long and off to the left, and then pond short. It's a really, really good dramatic finishing hole. So it was cool. Coolest thing I've ever done in golf. So.
Nice. Caleb VanArragon, rookie on the Korn Ferry Tour, is our guest here on Party Time, brought to you by Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try a Party. Also, Buy a Lit Spot in downtown Sarasota. If you're looking to unwind after a tough round of golf, if you want a cold water plunge, hot tub, red light, sauna, whatever you need, BioLit has got you covered. And also the Golf Real Estate Pros. If your dream is to live in a golf real estate community like Lakewood National Golf Club here in the greater Sarasota area, nobody better than the Golf Real Estate Pros of Vince Visicaro, Gene Walsh, and Samantha Walsh. Good time to buy. So, Caleb, tell me this. Do you feel like you belong right there? Whereas maybe you're a little bit nervous in the beginning, but based on the numbers, based on where you stand right now, the status you have guaranteed, the status that you could have, I would say you belong, but I want to know what's in your heart and your head.
I believe I do. But that's something that you got to prove every day. Like it's not, I can think that, but there are guys who kept their card on the Korn Ferry Tour last year, who I'm sure if you ask them at this time last year, they'd say, yeah, I belong on the Korn Ferry Tour, who didn't make it inside the top 156. So they're done. They've got no status anymore. They're going back to Q school like everyone else. So, I do believe I do, and I believe that I can, but you gotta prove it every day, and you've got to work every day to maintain your status out there, because if you're not, then there's 10,000 guys out there who would absolutely love to take your spot from you. So it's very competitive, and I love that. But I think it's good because like I feel like I can't really relax at all. Like I gotta keep. I mean, especially in the position I'm at right now, it's one thing if I'm like 50th in the points list, and I'm secure for all of next year. But especially right now where I'm at, like I've just got to keep on trying to prove myself every day.
Well, you have 3 weeks off at the time. We're recording this on Tuesday, August the 19th, a 3-week break in the action. Did you need the break? Because I know some other guys needed the break. You tell me.
I mean, yes and no. Like on the one hand, yes, it's really good to be back. It's fun to see Abby again. It's fun to, get to take some time away from golf. But at the same time, I just love playing golf tournaments so much that if they had scheduled like 10 in a row, I would have been fine with it. Like there were a lot of guys, especially this last week, talking about how much they were looking forward to this stretch and how they were really, really tired and like sick of golf. But like for me, I went out and practiced today. Like I took yesterday off because I had 6 hours worth of flying to do back from Idaho, but I practiced today. I'm going to practice tomorrow. Like I love golf so much that I don't ever really feel like I need a break from it. Like I don't really burn out on golf a ton because it's just so fun for me. So yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for the break. I'm grateful that I didn't have to spend 10 weeks on the road in a row. But if they had said like, you have to do that, like I would have been looking forward to the next event. So
let me get this straight. You only took 1 day off from practicing? That's it?
I'll probably take, my sister's coming to town tomorrow actually. And she's actually I can't remember if I talked about her last time, but she's a Division I golfer.
Yeah, you did.
Time. Yeah, she's a great player. So she's coming down. So we'll probably play and practice like 3 of the 4 days she's down here at least. Then
stop.
Yeah.
What's the stroke situation there between you and your sister, and how competitive is it?
I'm sure it'll be pretty competitive. We actually haven't played in a little while because last summer I was basically always traveling at playing mini tour stuff, and basically whenever I was back in town, it seemed like she was like working there, playing one of her amateur tournaments. So I don't know. I mean, I think if we just get the tees right, we can have an even match without
straight up. Okay,
we can probably play straight up.
You played all the way back. Would she play like the regular men's tees, or maybe even a little bit back of that?
I think regular men's tees would be pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got a very good distance for a female golfer. She probably carries it like 240, I would say. So
that's good.
She does not, and with a little draw, so it rolls out a little bit. So,
well, you're not exactly short off the tee yourself. Although by tour standard, you're going to tell me you are a little bit. You average 301 off the tee. Tell me this: have you had a couple like, holy smokes, welcome to major professional golf based on the distances guys were hitting it? And if that's happened, who were they?
Yes. So the first tournament I played this year in the Bahamas in Atlantis, I played my first practice round, or not my first, one of my practice rounds with Chase Sinkovich, who's he's like 6'5". He's one of my buddies out here, and he can effortlessly get 190 ball speed. He's just an absolute freak. He's like, I believe he's second on tour in driving distance this year.
So what are we talking in terms of yards? Because not everybody gets the ball speed stuff. I know that's very high.
If he swings at sea level, like in Florida, if you were to make a normal swing at the golf ball, he's carrying at 320, I would say. And if he swings hard at it, it's ridiculous. But then the other guy,
350, 360, he can dial it up there if he needs it.
I don't know if he could carry it that far. I would say he can probably get 340 for sure. And like, if he's really going after in like a speed session, yeah, probably.
And who's the other guy?
Cameron Champ. So
yep. What's that like?
I was getting driven by like 40 or 50 yards every hole. It was crazy. Yeah, no, there's, I mean, people talk about whether or not golfers are athletes, and those guys absolutely are. Like there is absolutely no debate.
Well, what do you do? I mean, when
freakish.
it might feel a little emasculating, but do you have a little talk with yourself and just say, all right, I don't got that. I can't have that. It doesn't matter. I just got to play my game. Or does your caddy have that conversation with you?
Yeah, I would say I've never worried about that too much. And back when I was young, I was like really, really short. So I was like, I'm still like only 5'8". I'm not like tall, but when I was young, I was very short and very skinny for my age. So I hit the ball nowhere. So I mean, now I'm relative to my competition doing a lot better than I was for, pretty much all my childhood. So I think I've learned that like the strength of my game is accuracy, and I'm never going to be a guy who hits it like, Cameron Champ does, but I've progressively gained speed actually like throughout the year and from year to yeof. So I know that as long as I keep working, I work out pretty much every day. I know that as long as I keep that up and keep getting stronger and all that I'll keep getting faster. And my goal is to someday, right now I'm at about like 174 ball speed, give or take, cruising. But if I get up to 180 or so, then I'll be in the top half of tour guys. And that's probably all I need, because the strength of my game is hitting a lot of greens generally.
Yes, 75%. You're 7th on the Korn Ferry Tour. Your driving distance is about 301 off the tee, which seems long enough to me. But when you got guys that can belt it out to 330, 340, you're giving a little something up.
Yeah.
Caleb VanArragon is our guest here on Party Time, brought to you by the Golf Real Estate Pros, Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro, and Samantha Walsh, suncoaststreams.com. Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try a Party. And if you don't have it at your golf course, make sure you tell the people in charge, we need Party here. And it's available exclusively through Paradise Craft Distributors, which distributes across the whole state, and also BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota. Caleb, if you didn't move to Fort Myers, you could have gone to BioLit Spa with Abby. But if you want to come back, we'll make some arrangements for you. I don't know if that works for you, but I know it worked for her, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And one other note, Lakewood National. When I've talked to guys about like what their favorite course on tour is, Lakewood National is usually at least in the top 3. That's one of all the courses we play on tour all year. Lakewood National is pretty much always up there with the best. So.
Yeah. Well, James Nicholas did that. Do you know James?
Yeah, I actually played with him that week.
Oh, so you were there with the behind the scenes and all that stuff that was going on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was amazing because you could tell it was genuine. He had cameras following. I saw him in the gym working out. I may have seen you and I didn't realize it was you at the time. But he did such a good job just showing what Lakewood National was like, what life as a tour pro was like, going to the grocery store, all this and that. But he's kind of got like he sort of has the personality to pull that off, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he's such a fun guy to play with, because I played with him there, played with him in Argentina, was it? And no, we're all very grateful for what he does, because I've got teammates who watch his videos back in Valpo, and the publicity that he gives to our tour and just giving people an idea of what we do is we all really appreciate it. And he's a lot of fun to play with too. But it's also, the stuff that Lakewood National has just in terms of the practice facilities, that range is massive, and the like 2 putting greens, huge short game area. We don't get that every week. That's a special facility right there. So that's
We really enjoy that you guys actually stay with the families. And do you ever do that? Do you ever stay with the host family, or you like the hotel? You like to do your own thing?
I haven't done that yet, but no, I've talked to a lot of guys who do that, and they always speak pretty highly of it. I've just gotten into the routine of staying in a hotel, but next year I'll probably switch it up a little bit, just because I've heard a lot of good stories about guys meeting great people that way.
And you save a lot of money too, because
that too.
Money's tight on the Korn Ferry Tour. Although you're doing pretty good, 115,000 so far this year, and hopefully more is to come. So why don't you give a shout out? I see the rip on your hat and everything, and I know you wear some good clothes and everything. Who are your sponsors?
Yeah. So my 2 sponsors are Unreal. I'm actually wearing that hoodie right now. That's a clothing company based out of Minnesota. They started sponsoring me 2 years ago when I played in the 3M Open on a sponsors exemption, and it's just great stuff. Like, it's the golf clothes are my favorite shirts and pants that I've worn on the golf course. The shirts they look good and you can swing so easily in them. It feels like it's not even like feels like you're not even wearing a shirt pretty much. And then Rip Golf, that's my swing coach, Luc Benoit, the company that he started. Their main thing is the Rip Stick, which is like a speed trainer that's similar to Speed Sticks. But they also recently launched the Butter Blade, which is basically this, it's like an iron, but the head is like that big. So you have to hit it absolutely dead perfect in order for it to not like be horrible. So it's a great trainer for like if you can flush that thing, you can literally flush anything. And then he also, there's a couple of other things they're getting into right now, but those are my two.
Maybe I need that, what you're describing there, because I ditched my blades. I got rid of the Mizuno blades. It was time. I can't hit them anymore. I mean, that ship is sailed. But maybe if I get one of the Rip Golf trainers, maybe I can get back to them, because that's how real golf ought to be played. I just don't got it anymore.
What's funny on that note, I actually play the TaylorMade P790s. I use like the biggest, chunkiest irons out of pretty much anyone on tour. And I just
really,
Luke is my swing coach, the Rip founder, Luke, he's always told me to keep that, because he doesn't think there's a whole lot of advantage to using an iron that's harder to hit. He doesn't think that the whole workability thing, and I don't think so either. I can work my irons just fine, even though I've got the big chunky P790s. So, but
my gosh, I'm stunned to hear that. But hey, they're working, man. Yeah, you're doing something right. And Caleb, thanks for coming back here on Party Time. Always good to catch up. And let's catch up at the end of the season and see how things all shake out. And wish you nothing but the best. All right, my man?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Caleb VanArragon has been our guest here, rookie on the Korn Ferry Tour, and we'll check in with him at the end of the year, having a good season so far. Right now, he is 67th on the point list. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try Party. Golf Real Estate Pros, Gene Walsh, Vince Vizicaro, Samantha Walsh, suncoastdreams.com, and BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota. For Caleb VanArragon, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time, my golf story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.